Back on MorningLine, real estate broker Gabriela Lira extraordinaire is with us. We're taking your phone calls on the market, interest rates going up. One other point that Maggie made was that she's hoping with the interest rates going up and the market slowing, she won't get as many of those unsolicited phone calls wanting to buy her property. I think a lot of us have been getting those. I even get them, and I wonder how they get my number sometimes. For like, we own a little piece of property next to our house. They want to buy our house, or they realize, hey, there's this undeveloped piece of property next to Nick. Would you like to sell that? I guess they can get property records, the public record, and track me down.
White pages, you can buy lists with phone numbers, and all your information is out there. The World Wide Web.
The fact that they're doing this means it must work. They may put out 100 calls, and maybe 2 of those say, well, what's it worth? What'll you give me? And they make the sale. Because, I mean, I get those things just like Maggie, and I totally ignore them. When I decide I'm ready to sell, you're going to know. No one's going to change my mind right now unless they come to me with an absurd offer, which they're not doing if they're calling you like that, right?
They're probably not doing that. And what they're banking on is that maybe this first time that they called you, you don't want to sell. But who knows, 3 months when they call you a second time, you may have changed.
You thought about it, yeah.
Yeah, it plants a seed, and maybe you change your mind. Maybe you have something happening in your life where you have to sell at that point, and they get lucky.
But if you decide that you do want to sell at some point, to get the most bang for your buck money, what is the best way to do that? You see the ads on TV where you can sell your home quickly with a guaranteed offer and all that kind of stuff. That's where you don't have to spend any time, you know, showing your house and all this. And I understand for convenience and if you're in a rush, but you're going to get less money for that, period. You're not going to get as much as you would if you did it the other way. What's the best way to get the most money for your property or house?
Put it on the open market. Expose it to as many potential buyers as possible. Get an agent that has a great marketing plan that's going to give you ultimate exposure to the demographic that is most likely to purchase your home.
Do you tend to like to have homes to show where it's by appointment, or do you sometimes do an open house?
We still do open houses, and I will tell you that the data says that I have a 1% chance of finding a buyer for the property that I am hosting from an open house, 1%, but I am more likely to pick up a new client that wants a different home.
Oh, that's interesting from your thing. Well, I'll say this though, and I guess if I'm the seller and you're telling me, Nick, we're gonna have an open house for you, and you know, 1% chance. But when we did ours, it was crazy. And our real estate broker said that he'd never seen so many people show up. Of course,
I've had those.
Of course, it was Nick Barris's house.
No, celebrity house.
No. But it really was great. But the thing I was going to say is I appreciate the open house because it was one fell swoop, as opposed to, we want to show Nick, can you be out of the house with your dogs on Tuesday? Or we need you out again on Thursday and cleaning things up before. I would prefer an open house, if possible, if you can get the bang for your buck.
Well, here's something that we could do. So, with the market being so hot, what agents were doing is saying, we're going to start showings on Thursday. We're going to show Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All offers are due Saturday night, and we'll pick one on Sunday.
There you go.
So you could still do some hybrid of that if you work from home, if you don't want people coming in and out of your house at any moment. You can do something of that nature where we only show it Thursday through Sundays from this time to this time. Now, would I recommend that? No. I would say show it as much as you can, because you never know who the buyer of your home will be and what their schedule is. Maybe they, cannot come on weekends for whatever reason.
Because as you said, the market is still very hot even with interest rates. We had offers from people that just saw what we had posted online from California, offering without even visiting it physically, personally.
Yes.
We ended up not taking one of those offers, but I mean, you never know where they're going to come from. I guess that's your point.
Right.
So out to as many as you can. Let's go to Frank. Frank, good morning. Hi, Frank.
I got a story I want to tell you about.
Yeah.
Several years ago, I sold a house and a farm, and I got a realtor to help with it. And in between the negotiations on it, my realtor went down $135,000 on mine, and I had to go down to the $135,000 off of the price. So the people that bought the house had two realtors. My realtor was also their realtor.
But didn't he run that by you first? Didn't he say, we're going to lower the price, or he just did that without telling you?
No, he went on outside, negotiated it down to come back in. So we got it done.
And you went along with it, or you signed it before you knew? You could have said no, couldn't you?
I could have said no, but it involved over $1 million.
Okay, I guess you make your choices. What about that? Is that unusual? I would guess that if your home's not selling and you think it's got to lower the price to maybe sell, you're going to get with your client and say, what do you think?
Sure, and I'm very data driven.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to pull a number out of the air. I look at the market. I look at comparable properties that have sold. I think about what's an appraiser going to do? How will they evaluate this property? And I present the data to my client and I say, based on comps, here's where I believe we need to be priced. And we've been sitting on the market for over a month in a market where days on market is 5 days, 10 days. So now we have no showings. The market is telling us that we're overpriced. Here's where we need to be.
So it's possible in Frank's case, his real estate, maybe his property was overpriced if we were talking about a multi-million-dollar property. But I guess my point would be his agent may have chosen to bring it down, but don't you run it by your client before you do that?
Well, absolutely. And my client can choose not to sign,
sure. Right.
Not to accept it.
Yeah, and he accepted it for that reason. So, Frank, maybe it was overpriced and maybe your agent did the right thing. You could have said no, but that's where I'm talking about when you choose a real estate agent. You want to trust them, and they do the best for you, but I want to make sure they keep me engaged.
Yeah.
I want to know what's up.
You have to vet them. Right? Like, not all real estate professionals are created equal. So make sure that you get good reviews, good references, recommendations. You interview them, everything you can.
Let's go next to Linda. Linda, good morning. Hi, Linda.
Yes.
Hey, Linda, what's on your mind?
About auctions.
Auctions, okay.
Yes. Auction off your property.
Yeah. Are you thinking of doing that?
Yes, I have 2 properties on the same street, and my husband passed away over a year ago, and I'm going to move to where my family's at.
Great. Okay. I'm really glad you asked that. That's interesting. I've seen these. So, okay, there's an option, and sometimes, depending on where you live, you do an auction, you bring the auctioneer in, you got a bunch of people show up, and what do you think about that in terms of selling I didn't know if she meant a house or a property, just land, but what about auctions?
I think you have options, and this is certainly one of them. And when I think about going to an auction personally, I'm thinking I'm going to get a deal.
You think so? Because I know sometimes with auctions, depending on the auctioneer and how many people show up and where it's at, you know how it is. The heat of the moment, people keep bidding, and I don't know if that's true.
That is true.
But you think, yeah, but I do hear what you're saying. You sometimes go to auctions, and depending on how many people show and what that is, you can get deals. So you're not wrong about that.
Yeah. So recently, I sold the house for a very long-time client of mine. He has 2 investment properties. He's now trying to sell off his investment properties. When I ran comps for that neighborhood, I noticed that the comps were really low, and I thought, gosh, he's not going to get much. But then I saw that all of the previous houses had gone essentially as a package in an auction.
And they sold for under.
So I was able to price much, much higher than the auction.
So Linda, that's interesting, and we're going to have Gabriela's number up at the end of the show, but that's a really good point, is that it may be convenient and easy, and you may want to go with an auction, but you may get more money if someone like Gabrielle checks and sees in your neighborhood and sees, well, did others sell an auction and were they under the market price? You may get more money by selling it through a real estate agent. Okay, some people too, by the way, the market was so hot. I have a neighborhood I run through at times, and I see signs out front for sale by owner.
Yes.
And for some people, maybe someone comes in, if it gives them what they want, they make the money. Do you see much of that? I know that's not something you deal with, but...
Well, sometimes I call for sale by owners when I see it sitting for a really long time and see if they need any help. Because a lot of times, they don't have the data at their fingertips to price correctly.
Yeah.
So they just pull a number out of the air, not sure how they come up with these figures. Sometimes they don't know that maybe a little bit of paint would go a really long way.
It's amazing how some of the things that you do for appearance, and a lot of them too, they'll just put the sign up there and they don't have any marketing plan, which is fine. But I mean, the stuff online, getting the word out, that's what a real estate agent does for you. Now, if you live in a super hot neighborhood, you put the sign out there, there's maybe a very good chance someone just happens to drive by, see it, and you'll get the money you want. But everyone does it differently.
And there's so many pitfalls. So you just want to make sure you have someone by your side that when, you know what, hits the fan, they have your back.
Yep. I mean, and you always think to yourself, well, I could save the commission, and we've been there and we've sold land, and I guess I could muddle through it with my wife. Nah, with the legal stuff and all that, it's worth it to me to pay to have someone handle all that for us.
Yes.
It really is nice, and then you get done with it. But there are a lot of avenues. Auction was one, for sale by owner, but ideally, I think finding a real estate agent that you really trust. Gabriela, you're awesome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll put your contact information up there, and we'll do this again as we see. I imagine the interest rates could go up again.
Oh, we should do it soon because the market is moving so quickly. I'll see you next month.
You got it. Yeah, we're going to mark that down, all right? It's good to have you on. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
We'll take a break. I'll be back with a programming note right after this. Stay with us.